Hey YouTube, this is Dennis here from Denny's Aquatics, and I wanted to do a quick video on what it means when fish are scratching off the sand or gravel. I'm sure those of you that have kept African cichlids before have probably at one time or another seen your Africans scratching off the substrate. And actually the term that we use in the aquarium hobby is called flashing off of the substrate, is what it's technically called. And there's a few reasons why that happens. The first one, and probably the most common reason, is due to water quality. And in particular, I'm not talking about nitrites, ammonia, or nitrates, but what I am talking about is carbonate hardness, general hardness, pH, those things that make the water hard and carry minerals in the water. And probably the one that causes the most problem is KH, carbonate hardness, which is the amount of calcium in the water. And when that starts to drop below, a normal reading should be somewhere between 14 and 17. And if it starts to drop below that, you might start to see your fish flashing off of the substrate. And that of course can happen towards the time that you're getting ready to do a water change, in that 5, 6, 7 day mark when you're getting ready to do a water change. The other reason why you might see Africans flashing is because you might see it actually right after a water change, is because they are readjusting to the new addition of minerals and the increase in pH in the water from the water change, and it could irritate their body, and they're scratching to make up for it. And usually that should settle down after about a couple of hours after you do the water change. You do want to watch to make sure that it does, because they can get so irritated they can actually scratch the scales off, and they could get an infection. And finally, the last reason why I believe that they flash off the substrate is actually something that I stumbled into accidentally about 6 months ago. I went to do a water test, and when I went to stick the vial that holds the water from the test kit into the water, I got electrocuted. And I didn't really see the fish acting too unusual, except I did notice some of them flashing more than usual. That's for sure. Actually, a lot of them in the tank were flashing. It wasn't constant, but they were flashing. And I did get electrocuted, and I couldn't at first figure out what it was, because I got zapped pretty good. But it became pretty obvious to me that it had to have been a heater failure. I do run 3 heaters in my tank in the sump, and one of them had failed, and it actually cracked, and it allowed voltage to travel through the water, and as a result the fish were flashing because of electricity in the water. But it doesn't always have to be a heater failure to cause that issue. It could happen from a failing pump in your sump system, a faulty canister filter, anything electrical that runs in the tank can cause it. So just a heads up, those are the three things with my experience and research and opinion that I have found that cause fish to flash. But obviously the best way to take care of it is just keep up on your water changes. If you notice that it's happening, check your KH, GH, and pH. Make sure those are where they need to be. If they're not, you need to take corrective measures to take care of that. And if all those test out, you might want to take a sample of your water and see if you get a voltage reading in it, as crazy as it sounds, in a bucket of water. But with that, just taking a quick peek here. The fish were just fed. They're kind of picking around and getting ready to go to bed for the night, as well as I am. But they're doing real well. The new fish have settled in. There's my Lacromis gracilis that I just picked up a few weeks ago, and he came out of quarantine last weekend. My VC10. My Lechnochromis acutus, or no, actually that's my Phosochromis rostratus. And my Barracuda kind of laying low in the back there next to the rock. And then my Placidochromis Philochias Tanzania, also known as the Star Sapphire, starting to get a few more checks on him. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I have this evening. I just thought I'd share that with you. Please, if you can take a moment to comment, hit the like button, subscribe, that would really help me out a lot. Again, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.